Hi guys, Big Bear here. So I just want to talk about a topic what's being talked about all over at the moment in regards to the gyms. Should they stay open? Should they close? So my take on it is they should stay open no matter what. There's so many different reasons. I'll touch on a few today. And what I'm going to do is try and relate it to my situation going through the last lockdown. And I'm sure you'll be able to take bits from it or relate to it or know someone can relate to it. So I'm sure you'll have seen on Instagram recently that a guy called Nick Capo's got a gym in Liverpool. He fought against the restrictions because obviously Liverpool went into a tier 3 lockdown, and he said he's happy to pay the fines what the police and the government was giving him because in the long run his business is not going to last because they can't afford to financially close again. So we fought it and they've actually overcome it and won the case, so we are staying open in lockdown. I don't know if that's going to be a case for everywhere, but fingers crossed if it does come to a full lockdown that gyms can remain open. So I'm just going to start from my story. So it's the end of March, I can't remember what date it was, and been at work. I'm driving home and my phone's going mad. I've got, obviously for each different app you use, you get different notifications. So I think Facebook Messenger pinged a couple of times, WhatsApp, loads of messages coming through, and then I got buzzers off my phone for like just normal messages. And I'm just thinking, oh, it'll just be group chat, it'll just be this, just be that. I get home, I think it's about 5:15, and I've got messages saying, oh, have you seen news, have you seen this? And I'm thinking, what's happened? And obviously I was one of them guys who was like, oh, they'll not close gyms, there's no chance, and obviously they did. So on that Friday I'd seen that from midnight that night there's going to be a lockdown, and first thing I did was I got home, obviously looked at the messages, popped inside, had a drink, got back in my car, went to my door, bought some plates from Argos, some 25 kg plates. And I was trying to find a bench press actually, just thinking whatever I can get my hands on. And I did manage to get a bench. I managed to borrow one actually. My brother had one in his loft, so I managed to borrow that. And then I messaged the gym I go to, and said, is there anywhere I could borrow a barbell? Which it's a commercial gym, so it's not. I didn't think the chances were going to be like that anyway, but they said no, it's not possible, which is fair enough. I managed to actually, for a friend of a friend, manage to borrow a barbell, a proper Olympic bar off someone I know, which was great. As well as I managed to borrow weights from some like my dad's old garage and just bits and bobs from all over. So I was all right for so long. As well as that, I've got a family friend who's a welder, and he built me a squat rack. I've still got it in my garden, and I was able to shoulder press as well from it, which is brilliant. So I was very lucky. I know a lot of people had nothing. I think my dad had a rusty dumbbell and some bands, and many people I spoke to had nothing, so I've not been able to do anything other than like cardio and stuff like that. So I was very lucky. I didn't have a space to store stuff, so some of it was under the stairs, driving Mrs. crazy. The barbell I kept in the living room because I can't leave stuff outside to get rusty, especially if it's not mine. And then I had a few plates in the shed as well. So it was all over really, which to be honest, when it come to a training day, it was like a workout itself, getting everything from under the stairs, then to the shed, then everywhere. It was a bit of a nightmare, to be fair. But like I said, I didn't moan too much because I know people didn't have a lot. I wasn't blessed enough to have a spare room or a garage to put all this stuff in, so like I say, it was all over, which was a nightmare when it comes to the weather being crap. I mean, luckily we did have quite a lot of good weather through the full lockdown, so training wasn't an issue. But towards the end of it, to the latter stages, the weather was, some days ridiculously cold and obviously wet, rainy. So I borrowed a gazebo off one of my other brothers, and it was good. But when it come to a Wednesday, which is a shoulder pressing day for me, I couldn't actually press the full to lock out. So I had to move the gazebo. If it was obviously crap weather, move the gazebo do my set, do a full lockout, and then put the gazebo back over to keep it dry. So it was just a bit of a ball ache, and obviously when it's cold it takes longer to warm up. I mean, for myself, about 22 and a half stone, you've got to make sure you're warmed up before you start training, otherwise it's, well, for anyone it's a risk of injury. So yeah, it was trying to get warmed up outside or even inside and it's freezing. It wasn't fun. As well as that, you've got your basic distractions. Like I used to tell my missus, like if I'm outside training, I'm at the gym. Don't bother me. And not just her. I mean, there were times like, oh, can you just come and do this? Can you do it? And you just get distracted so easily. I mean, there's times when I'm sort of popping in to go to the toilet, say in between sets, and I think, oh, just put pots away or whatever, just stupid stuff where you can easily just get distracted being at home. But I may do with what I've sort of got. But touching on that about saying to my missus, when I'm in the garden, I'm at the gym, it's a mental escape for me. I mean, my partner, even family sometimes can moan, God, how long do you spend there? And I think, I know a lot of people who spend most of the time sat in the pub, drinking, gambling, betting on stuff. And, you know, I like a drink, but I don't really drink very often, but I wouldn't be doing it every weekend, that's for sure. Probably once or twice a year. But in terms of gambling, I don't really gamble. So I could be doing a lot worse stuff than going to the gym. But anyway, so going to the gym for me is a mental escape. Especially a couple of years ago, I had a traumatic time family-wise. And the gym was the only time where for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, I forgot about everything. I go to the gym and just forget about everything. I was just in my own world. Right, I've come to do chest today, I'm doing bench press, I'm doing dumbbells, I'm doing this. Don't worry about anything else other than when you're in there, you're sort of locked in on something. And I'm sure people will relate to that. It's not just if you've had something really bad happen or you're going through a crap stage. Just every day you need to de-stress. And that's what the gym obviously gives. So mental health, it's a massive factor. I've got a really close friend who he lives on his own, and I know he wouldn't be bothered, but for me, like, I would worry about him if we go into a full lockdown, the gym's closed, and I'm thinking, right, so he's working from home, so he's not having any social interaction at work, can't go to the gym, night, you know, it's getting darker, it's getting colder, he can't go on that many walks. I would worry about his mental health. You know, I know you can keep in touch via FaceTime, but it's not the same, is it? I mean, if you're doing FaceTime or something like that, it's on your terms, you know. We've all done it. FaceTime, text, a call, see it pop up. Sometimes you might think, oh, I can't be arsed, decline, whatever, or just let it ring out, etc. We've all done it. That's on your terms. If you're not bothered about talking or you get into, you know, a depressed state or whatever, you don't want to talk. So you can't, you know, if you see someone at the gym and you're having a crap time, you can potentially cheer them up, having a laugh, you know, socialising, training together, whatever. You can't do that if you're in a full lockdown. I'm not saying that we just shouldn't do it all together just because of the gym. There's a lot of factors, but for me, in terms of the gym, it can't close again. Because as well as mental health, it might sound stupid, but the expense, if you want to buy equipment, it's really expensive. Like I say, I was lucky to grab things from here and there and what have you, but it's so expensive, and there are people selling weights for like £3 per kg. So like, you know, they're selling, or they could be selling like a 20 kg plate for like 60 quid for one plate. Can't do anything with one plate other than, you know, probably 2 or 3 little things. So again, it's the equipment, it's storage, it's mental health. You've got to have that socialising, it's a getaway. There's so many different factors in regards to why the gym shouldn't close as well. I mean, the gym training actually boosts your immune system. So why would pubs, even if it's only till 10 o'clock, pubs, restaurants, they can open, no problem. But then you can socialise at home. If you're going to say you're going to break the rules, and go to the pub with more than 6 people, you could have them around at your house if you're really going to break it. I mean, I'm not encouraging it, but if you're going to break it, you can break it home. You can't break the rules and go to a gym unless you're going to smash in there. You know what I mean? You can't just break into a gym. So there's no option, but there is other options to socialising, going for a walk or whatever. But in terms of a gym, there's not a plan B. Like I say, if you're lucky enough to get hold of plates and stuff like that, and benches and what have you, then yeah, great. But not everyone is, and like I say, and storage comes into it and stuff like that. I mean, just touching on when I was doing the shoulder press with in the garden with the gazebo. I mean, there's an element of risk because I know there always is with training, but I mean, when I took it was obviously wet and I'm moving the gazebo, I'm pressing. If I sort of slipped while I was doing one of my sets, obviously one of the factors would be I could possibly injure myself, whether that's me falling over and twisting my back or something like that, or obviously the weight falling back on you, or the main thing is your partner chewing your ear off because you've damaged one at patio slab, something like that, you know. There's so many different elements where it's not practical to be doing it at home, unless, like say, you're blessed with a garage or whatever, but still there's the expense. So, there's so many factors of why they shouldn't close, but we really don't know with our government and what's what because it changes all the time. But one thing's for certain, for me, it can't close. It really shouldn't. But we've just got to wait and see now. See what they say. I'm hopefully Nick Capo in Liverpool, who did his massive fight against it. Hopefully that's going to keep stuff running and keep us open, even if we do go into a full lockdown again. But yeah, I hope you can sort of relate to some of the stuff I've said. I feel like I've touched most stuff. I'm sure I'll probably watch this back like I do everything I record and look and think, oh, I didn't mention this, I didn't mention that. But yeah, I think I've touched most of it. What I'll do now, I'll leave you a few videos of I've had an epic bench session today. I've smashed it. If you watch my last video of the 25 rep challenge, I beat that today. So you'll have to watch the rest of this and see what numbers I put up. I'm also going to add in a few other stuff as well. I might do a few things for my back workout tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, please subscribe. Big Bear out.